Hey you guys, welcome to the tutorial for the Hello Spring. I just thought this would be an easier way for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to do a above picture of what I'm working on here. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is set out my board, grab my baby wipe, wrap it around my fingers, dip it into my paint, and then smear it on my board. Set that aside, and in the meantime, I'm going to take my my little end pieces here. I'm going to grab another wipe. You could use the same one if you wanted to, if you're done with the white, but you can just grab another wipe, dip it in your brown paint, and smear it on. This is the Coffee Bean by Folk Art color, and I love this color because it totally looks like stain. To me, it really looks like the dark walnut that I really like from Varathane. So I'm going to do the edges as well because you're going to be able to see those. Set those aside and grab my whiteboard again. And I'm going to grab my wipe that I was already using on the first step and dip it into my white paint again. And now, since it's already covered, I'm just going to go over the little bit of the edges and stuff and really just make sure that it's filled in well. Do them. But I'm going to do black, so I'm going to grab my sponge and a little bit of black paint, dip it in, kind of dab off the excess, although you don't have to be as careful with the black because you won't be able to see the black paint on the edge of your words. Okay, so how I made this was these strips will hang off the edge a little bit. So this is 11¼ by 11.75. So I want to find, if you do it this way, they're going to line perfectly up. So you know that's not the right way. So you want to turn it so these go over the edge a little bit like that. So one is going to go across the top and one's going to go across the bottom. Like so. The thing we want to do is glue this first one down, and the second one we're going to glue in the twine as well. So I'm going to take my glue. This is Loctite Professional, but if you put the little super glues in your box from the dollar store or something, those will work just fine as well. So a little bit of glue down that bracket, and I'm going to line up the edge with the bottom and then make sure it's centered going back and forth. I'm going to hold it for just a second. This stuff dries really fast, but I'm going to hold it for just a minute. Okay, and then when I'm doing this one, we're going to glue down that twine as well. So we want a piece of twine that's like, I don't know, 1 foot to 18 inches, depending on, you know, how big you want your loop. Maybe you want it shorter or longer, it doesn't matter. But before we glue this down, we want to glue on our twine. So we're going to put glue down the back of this. My bottle is almost empty here. And then I'm going to just put a little bit of extra glue where I want my twine so it sticks a little bit. Try not to glue your hands. All right, so I'm gonna just set this down gently. And what I do is I just make sure that the piece is centered from left to right, that the top is straight across, and that the twine goes in about the same distance on each side. And once I have that kind of in place, then I just wanna go ahead and push and hold for just a minute, making sure that this gets glued down and held into place. Okay, and then the next step would be to bring this stuff back on and glue this down. I think that should be good. So I always like to lay my pieces out to see how I want them on my board. So I'm gonna lay these out, and I like to put these touching the bottom piece. And again, you can rearrange these in whatever order. So again, you can arrange these in whatever order that you want. I like to kind of lay them out to make sure that they're spaced well and that everything is kind of where I want it before I glue them down. So kind of like that. And so now the last step is to go and glue everything on the sign right where I want it. So I'm going to start with this guy. And there you have it.